deepening your prayer life, moving beyond the normal. Imagine the person who only calls you to complain or ask for something. They dominate the conversation, leave no room for you to speak, and abruptly hang up. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 7 to 8, we read, "And when you pray, do not use vain repetitions as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Therefore, do not be like them. For your Father knows what you need before you ask Him." This might be how God feels when we pray, if our prayers become repetitive, dry, or transactional. Like many, my prayers often fall into four categories: bland and dry like old bread, repetitive like a scratched record, treating God as a vending machine, or seeing prayer as a tedious chore. C.S. Lewis warns about prayers that aim to be spiritual but lack substance. He writes about trying to evoke feelings without words and words without meaning, leading us to believe we are more spiritual than we really are. When our prayers lose their depth, our faith withers. Through my journey, I've discovered some techniques to avoid these pitfalls and deepen my prayer life. Presence. Consider being alone in a room, aware of another person's presence, even if you can't see them. This awareness is the starting point of prayer. God hears our hearts, not our words, someone once said. If we can speak from the heart, we speak the language of God. 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 7 reminds us that the Lord looks at the heart. We need to listen to God's heart within our own through subtle inspirations and moments of clarity. Romans chapter 8, verses 26 to 27 tells us that the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. When we master this language of the heart, we truly converse with God. Honesty. Prayer requires radical honesty. Imagine old diving suits where the diver depended entirely on the operator above to pump air. Similarly, we must trust God with our lives, even our next breath. C.S. Lewis emphasizes that trust in God's unseen presence is crucial, even in darkness and uncertainty. Understanding our smallness in the vast universe can be humbling, but it highlights God's intimate knowledge of us. We are assured of our worth in Matthew 10, verses 29 to 31, which reminds us that not a single sparrow falls without God's knowledge, and we are worth more than many sparrows. Trust. Preparing for prayer is essential. It means finding a quiet place, being aware of God's presence, and manifesting an open posture to symbolize an open heart. Lewis notes that prayer is about lifting our hearts to God. Entering our inner room, our heart, and closing the doors to everything else, we begin true prayer. Start with stress relief. Visualize stress as red smoke in your chest, breathing it out slowly. Then let the environment fade away, leaving just your heart in a vast emptiness, inviting God to enter. Psalm 46 verse 10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Structure. While the deepest form of prayer is silent communion with God, expressing ourselves in words can be helpful. Start with acknowledging your faults. Dear Lord, I am sorry for... Reflect on obstacles between you and God and ask for His help to see them clearly. Next, pray for others. Think of everyone struggling, the sick, the dying, and those who have lost hope. Our prayers should come from a place of genuine empathy and trust in God's power. Finally, pray for yourself. Share your fears, desires, and needs with Jesus, who invites us to tell Him everything. Distinguish between what you want and what you need, trusting that God knows better. Matthew chapter 6, verses 31 to 32 reminds us not to worry about material needs as God already knows them. Always end with gratitude. Simple, sincere thanks can be the most powerful part of prayer. Remember, we pray not to change God, but to change ourselves, as Lewis says in Prayer helps diminish our fears and align our desires with God's will. In conclusion, if you believe in God's love and presence, there is no better use of your time than to pray. Romans chapter 8, verses 38 to 39 reassures us that nothing can separate us from God's love. Even when we struggle, bringing our struggles to prayer is key. Lamentations chapter 2, verse 19 encourages us to pour out your heart like water before the face of the Lord. Try these practices for a week. You may find a deep connection with God, transforming your prayer life into a profound love affair where you converse intimately with the Creator. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel for more content, thumb up the video, and share. Until I come your way again, remain blessed. See you soon.